Imagine that the ordinary traditions we follow year after year actually come to us from the depths of centuries, from ancient myths told by our ancestors, the New Year's tree, carnivals, All Saints' Day. All these familiar things have roots you might not even suspect. Today, we embark on an incredible journey into the past to uncover the hidden stories behind modern traditions. Let's start with New Year's celebrations. The tree standing in the middle of the room, decorated with ornaments and garlands, seems familiar to us. But did you know that this tradition originates from ancient Germanic beliefs? The ancient Germans revered trees as sacred, believing that spirits of nature resided in them. To honor the winter solstice, they decorated evergreen trees with fertility symbols to appease the spirits and ensure good fortune in the new year. Later, with the arrival of Christianity, this tradition transformed into decorating the Christmas tree. The history of carnivals is no less fascinating. Bright costumes, masks, noisy parades, all of this comes from the ancient world. In ancient Rome, the festival of Saturnalia was celebrated, during which social order was turned upside down. Slaves were allowed to feast alongside their masters, and people wore masks to conceal their identities. This tradition carried over into medieval Europe and eventually evolved into modern carnivals. Another well-known tradition is the celebration of Halloween. Many believe it to be an exclusively Western holiday, but in reality, it dates back to the Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts believed that on the night of November 1st, the boundary between the world of the living and the dead blurred, allowing spirits of the deceased to return to our world. To protect themselves, people wore costumes imitating supernatural beings and left treats at their doorsteps to appease the spirits. The influence of ancient myths on our traditions can even be seen in holidays associated with love. Valentine's Day is often linked to romantic confessions and gifts. However, its origins lie in the ancient Roman festival of Lupercalia, which was held in honor of the god Faunus, the patron of fertility. During Lupercalia, men would draw the names of women from a special vessel, and for the duration of the festival, the pairs became symbolic lovers. Over time, the Christian Church reinterpreted this ritual, replacing it with the image of Saint Valentine, the patron of lovers. Even simple traditions, such as blowing out candles on a birthday cake, have mythological roots. In ancient Greece, people offered round cakes with candles to the goddess Artemis, symbolizing the glow of the moon. It was believed that the smoke from the candles carried a person's wishes up to the gods. Later, this practice evolved into the custom of making a wish while blowing out birthday candles. There are far more ancient stories hidden in our habits and customs than we might imagine. Even toasts at feasts originated in ancient Greece, where the host would raise a cup and take a sip of wine to prove it was not poisoned. This tradition gradually transformed into the modern ritual that accompanies any celebration. Another interesting example is the tradition of caroling. It dates back to ancient Slavic rites related to honoring ancestral spirits. People in masks would go from house to house, performing ritual songs to bring prosperity in the new year. Over time, this custom evolved into Christmas and New Year's carols. The influence of ancient myths can even be seen in sports competitions. The Olympic Games, as we know them today, originated in ancient Greece, where they were held in honor of Zeus. They were not just competitions but a sacred ritual symbolizing harmony between spirit and body. Many wedding ceremonies also have mythological origins. For example, the tradition of throwing the bride's bouquet traces back to ancient Roman times, when pieces of the bride's clothing were considered symbols of luck and fertility. Over time, this ritual transformed into a more civilized form. In some cultures, the tradition of water sprinkling during celebrations has been preserved. For example, in Thailand, during Songkran, people splash water on each other, symbolizing cleansing and renewal. This ritual has deep roots in ancient beliefs about water as a source of life and rebirth. In many cultures, the tradition of exchanging gifts during holidays is also linked to mythology. In ancient Rome, during Saturnalia, people exchanged symbolic gifts as a sign of respect and good wishes. Even something as familiar as April Fool's Day pranks has ancient origins. In medieval Europe, there was a Fool's Day when people were allowed to play pranks on each other. This holiday, in turn, may trace back to the Roman Festival of Fools. This is how ancient myths continue to live on in our daily lives, even if we don't realize it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment about which traditions surprised you the most. Thank you for watching until the end. Your interest and support help us explore even more fascinating topics. Don't forget to share this video with your friends so they can also learn about the hidden roots of modern traditions.